Welcome to a special episode of Nerd on Nerd with me, Jack Kempster.
And me, Liam Underwood, and we're joined by some special guests again today, aren't we, Jack?
We are. We're joined by Dan Palmer, who has been a guest on the show multiple times, and Kat Fyson, who has also been a guest on the show multiple times, and apparently, according to Liam, is known for nothing else.
Yay!
You might remember both of them from when they joined us to discuss The Walking Dead season 7.
Are you saying that to me? I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. No, I wasn't sure if it was season 7 of The Walking Dead. It was like a question.
I don't know. It's hard to. Everything's gone on for so long now.
Yeah, because this is now Game of Thrones season 7, so it just seemed to make sense to. I'm kind of thinking of Dan and Kat as like our TV correspondents.
All right, they're the specialists we bring in when we need someone to talk about TV shows.
Yes.
That's fair enough.
Fair enough.
Because have we kind of said what we're talking about in this episode?
Game of Thrones season 7. You just said it.
Perfect.
Are you sure it's season 7?
Yes.
It definitely is. It is Game of Thrones season 7, yeah.
We are on the ball tonight.
Beautiful.
Can I just tell a little story before we get started?
Am I going to like this story?
No.
I don't care. Say it, Kat.
So, I got home from work today and all the lights were off, and it's because Liam was having a nap. So that might be why he's not quite with it this evening.
You turned all the lights out to have a nap, Liam?
He did.
Okay, I started watching a movie that wasn't very good, so it made me sleepy, but the lights were out because I was watching the movie. I'm not going to turn the lights on to then have a nap, am I?
Yeah, I was going to say, hold on here. You don't... When napping is sleeping, you don't necessarily choose to sleep with the lights on.
Exactly.
No, but usually when I come home and he's napping, which is like every day, the lights are usually on, so it was unusual.
It's because I'm not halfway through a movie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll be living my life doing other stuff.
Well,
this was a very boring story,
anymore.
Kat. Yeah, Jack, I'm trying not to, but it's been a long weekend.
Well, good job, buddy.
It's been a long weekend. My life is difficult. Can we talk about Game of Thrones, please?
Yeah, sure.
Some beautiful fantasy escape I get from my day-to-day dreary life.
Yeah, let's do it. What are we starting with, Liam? We're talking about...
So, for anyone that isn't aware, there's going to be spoilers.
Tons of them.
Loads. The way this
Hound's
conversation...
in it.
Yeah.
Gregor Coclane's in it. I said his name wrong.
Well, that could be a
that
spoiler.
woman,
If
I remember, is in it.
If you've only watched to a certain point, you might think he's dead.
That's true.
So the way this is going to work is we're going to sort of discuss what we think of the season overall, not including the finale. And then we'll have like a discussion on the finale. And then we'll talk about what we think might happen because the next season's the last season.
Right, can I be difficult, Liam? I know you thought I was going to be difficult before. Can I be difficult now?
Yeah, sure, why not?
So, why are we doing an overview of the season, not including the finale? Why don't we do an overview of the season, including the finale, then get into specifics about the finale later?
Whatever, mate, I don't care.
Why would we cut out the finale?
Because I think it warrants its own discussion.
Yeah, but the season overview, that's got to include the finale. We can't be like, oh, the season was really good, but not with that bit. You've got to include all of it in the overview, surely.
Fine. Dan, like one sentence, how would you describe the season? Or your feelings on the season?
I liked it.
Cool.
I've got other feelings about it because it's
okay.
Throughout the season, I learned that I partially don't care about it anymore.
That's one of the things that I wanted to kind of ask you about.
It was a good season. Though.
So what happened for you to stop caring, do you think?
It's a combination of the fact that you wake up on Monday morning and you basically skip the internet for the day or till you've watched it, and it's just
particularly annoying.
And I'm fed up of that, and because I no longer care if I get stuff spoilt for me, which obviously is quite a big thing for if you want to be surprised and you're kind of open for different things that might happen.
Well, I think part of the appeal of this show is that being surprised by it, because this is the sort of show that does tend to throw in a few curveballs, although I would say this season less so than other seasons.
Yeah,
definitely.
But yeah, I get what you mean. I think that's more like it's just people not being considerate enough to like just not go on something like Twitter or Facebook and post a load of spoilers.
Even then, though, right? Yeah, people suck. But like this season, I've not made a huge effort on Mondays to like avoid stuff. Like I don't particularly. I'm not like you guys. I'm not a social media, extravagant a word that means
Guru.
stuff. I'm
Savvy.
Yeah, I'm not a social media guru. I just don't go on it that much. So I've avoided a lot of stuff without even trying to. But have there been? I don't know.
I think the
feel
biggest
people have
thing that
been
was
less
maybe
spoilery.
spoiled, and it's hardly a spoiler really, but I knew that Gendry was returning before kind of seeing that happen. But is that a spoiler? Because equally, when I was watching the episode, I saw his name flash up in the opening credits. So I don't know
Why
if that really
does
even
that
counts
keep
as a spoiler.
happening now? Like, why is it necessary to have in the credits every person that's in it that then spoils it? Because I remember you, Liam, said this about Baywatch, the movie, that
Yeah.
seeing the names at the beginning, you're like, oh, well, that's shit now. That's ruined it for me because I now know they're going to be there. And it's a bit like that with Gendry, really. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a bit frustrating. And
It got me
unnecessary.
think. I was gonna say it got me thinking because so to jump quickly back to Walking Dead when they removed Glenn's the actor's name
Yeah.
from the credits for that, I was thinking
Yeah.
Game of Thrones should like do that at some point as well, just to throw people off. That'd be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do that. So they only show the names of who's in that episode. So because sometimes I'll be watching, I'll be like, like I haven't seen like Maisie Williams in the opening credits, so we're not going to get any of her scenes in this episode.
I don't even read those credits.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you're a simpleton,
Jack.
Jack.
I'm excited about all the pop-up towns. I think it's a
Towns.
really... it looks really good. It's like a cool pop-up book.
Are you not fed up with the intro anymore?
I don't. Me and Dad, who I watch it with, fast forward the.
What?
We watched the title sequence. No. We
What?
watch it for the first episode, and then we watch it for the last episode.
What?
That's ridiculous. Because it changes
Every
each
single
episode.
time, I want the intro.
Does it? I didn't realise it changes.
It
Yeah.
changes based on where that episode is set. So you see the locations that are going to appear in that episode.
I'm not missing out on that though. There you go. I'm avoiding it being spoiled. I'm more surprised when they go somewhere. I'm like, oh my god, they're in the north.
What a
You're
surprise!
not one. Kat, one
Yes.
sentence. What would you say about this season?
Illogical but enjoyable.
Wow, you had time to think about that, didn't you?
I did. Illogical in how quickly everybody moved around, but we'll probably get to that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we will.
Oh, definitely.
enjoyable because a lot happened. To be fair.
Which is very Game of Thronesy, really.
Yeah, and that I don't know. I just quite enjoyed that, and I might be in the minority. I don't know.
Okay, Jack.
Good.
This is going really well.
That's a great sentence,
Thanks.
Jack.
Thanks. Well, all right. Sorry, a sentence. It was really good.
Well done. Thank
That's
you
one-
for.
with a comma.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
But in my opinion,
Too many commas.
semicolon.
Oh Jesus.
Starting a list. No, I don't know. Yeah, it was a good season, I think. But I've got the same issues you had, Kat, with the illogical moving around. I feel like this season felt a little bit rushed.
Yes.
Not rushed, but that they're trying to cram everything in.
No, I
They're
think
like,
it was
shit, we've got
rushed.
2 seasons left.
I think it was
Oh.
that they kind of know it's coming to an end, and therefore they're like, oh, let's try and cram in as much as possible. And in previous seasons, a journey that would have taken like 5 episodes took 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's literally like, let's go visit the north. Okay, we're there. And you're like, what? Sorry.
Yeah.
Liam,
Yes.
what's your
If
sentence?
this sentence isn't good, I'm going to be very upset.
I haven't had time to think about it because I was so busy listening to all of your sentences.
Oh, that is such
Well,
a
quick.
loud excuse.
Off
Yeah.
the top of your head, mate. Off the top of your head.
Off the top of my head,
First thing.
I would say good, but not for the reasons why previous seasons of Game of Thrones have been good in the past.
That sounded cryptic.
Bit of a long sentence, in my opinion. You probably could have trimmed that down.
Yeah, but that was my sentence. So let's just dive into it, shall we?
Sure.
So let's just do like likes and dislikes. We're not going to do episode breakdowns or none of that
Oh.
bullshit because I don't really remember half of it.
Yeah.
What did we like?
I was gonna say I've got a list. So before this, I quickly watched a recap because again I couldn't remember anything.
That was a smart thing to do. I should have done that.
Yeah.
I'm full of such good ideas. So I got a list of 6 things. Obviously the first episode where you got Arya.
Yeah.
Wait,
Doing
hold
her
it, let's
face
hold it a
thing.
second. How do you pronounce Arya's name? Do you
Arya.
Aria.
is there emphasis on the R, or do you just skip the R and go Arya? Or
Arya.
No.
Aria.
You pronounce the R, but it's just Aria.
Yeah.
So,
Arya.
So chuck a secret I in between the R and the Y.
Yeah, Arya.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Right. So
How are you pronouncing it, Palmer?
well, I mix and match. I sometimes do say the R and sometimes don't. But that's because when I'm watching Game of Thrones, there are people who say it and it sounds like they're saying it without the R.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. But then some do say it with the R.
Yeah,
but it's not
exactly.
even consistent.
Anyway,
Arya.
yeah. So right. So the beginning where Arya killed the guys from the Red Wedding, like the first.
Yeah.
It's the first episode, right? And it opens with that. And
Is
she
it
pulls
Fi-
up-
is
Yeah,
it
the
Filch?
Walder Frey.
It's the
What, from Harry Potter?
phrase.
Yeah, but he plays Filch in Harry Potter, doesn't he?
Yeah, but
Liam-
well, I can't remember his first name, but it's
Walder Frey.
Walder Frey. I said it, people. You all ignored me.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does, yeah.
yeah. I thought that,
that
was
was-
a really
yeah,
cool
That was pretty
opening.
cool. That was good. It kind of, I think, got people pretty pumped for kind of what was coming then, right?
Oh,
It
definitely.
did, but also, I feel like that's the only time we saw Arya do her face thing this whole season
Yeah,
that
which
we
is a
know
shame
of.
because it was such a cool way to bring back her character in the sense that you kind of wanted a bit more of that, and instead you kind of just got creepy Arya back at Winterfell.
Oh, I did
later
like
in
her
the
being like. I liked her being creepy, but also I feel like she's got this arrogance about her now that is earned, but also could kind of be her undoing.
Yeah,
We
it's
also
a bit
know that
brushy.
Yeah, but
she's also got that bag of faces which she's just carrying around in a backpack.
Yeah, we've all
I
got
have a
that.
question about the bag of faces,
Okay.
right? Because Walder Frey's face was in there.
Mm-hmm.
She has assassinated him in what I'm assuming is probably going to be quite a public way. So a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, did you hear? Walder Frey got murdered." So why has she got his face? What's she going to do? Pretend to be him, and then everyone will be
Spook
like, "You're
people.
dead."
Yeah.
pretend
Oh,
like
that's
a
true.
ghost.
Maybe she's going to be, "Oh man, maybe she'll blend in with the White Walkers next season." When she's like, "Look, I'm dead," and they're like, "Oh yeah, I heard that Walder Frey died, so you can't be."
No,
Arya.
but
You
that's
must
the
be
other
Walder
thing,
Frey.
right? What do you do with a face once the person's dead? Because you can't just burn it. Like, it probably takes her a lot of time to kind of wash it and all that sort of
Wash
stuff.
it and hang it
I mean,
up
you
to
could
dry.
It's like a pod collection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all it is.
She's collecting them all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was a really cool way of introducing the series, I think. And I think
It was.
they've mostly kept up that sort of pace and excitement throughout with all the stuff that's happened this season.
You get too bloody much.
It's just too much for Liam. He's getting old.
I
need
the
it to slow
pacing
down.
of this season was ridiculous.
Yeah, comparatively to other seasons and the logic behind it. Like, I saw this map, I think it might have been on Reddit or something, where someone had basically drawn out how far the Walkers had travelled versus how far Jon Snow had travelled in the same amount of time. And literally, like, the White Walkers had travelled like a couple of dots, and Jon Snow had just darted all over the place. Because that's basically all he's done this season is travel to a load of different places in no time at all.
Yeah, he's done like a tour
Yeah.
of Westeros.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Snow on tour.
But also, to be fair, the White Walkers had no way of getting through the wall at the start of the season, and I assume the Night King knows that. He's not just going to rock up to the wall and be like, "Let's
Well,
let everyone shoot us."
They still
while we
took
can't
their
get
time,
through.
though, didn't they? I mean,
They did. No, they did. But they're also dead, and they walk quite slowly.
I'm also not fully convinced with how that's been resolved.
Go on.
Well, so there was this theory banging around, right? That part of the reason why the wall worked with keeping the walkers out was that it was like infused with magic. So that's
Right.
why they couldn't just like pass through it. And then
Yeah, and then you. This is right. You had that big hissy fit where you were like, "Oh, Bran's ruined it for everyone. I'm fully
No,
on board
I didn't
with
have a
it.
hissy
I hate
fit.
Bran. Bran's a dickhead."
it wasn't a hissy
Bran."
fit, it was just a theory that was going around where after the last season where the Night King like touched Bran and then that allowed them to kind of get to where they were and you had the whole Hodor tragedy. That basically him touching Bran meant that now when Bran passed through the wall when he returned, that essentially undid the magic, like how they then managed to get to him where he was hiding with Hodor, which I quite like that theory. I didn't realise that actually the wall could just be taken down by a dragon.
Yeah, well, I think Game of Thrones are they doing the same sort of logic that most fantasy? I know they're not, a traditional fantasy, but like dragons are typically magical. That's like
yeah, that was
how it
my
works.
assumption of that being able to
they've got
happen.
an anti-dragon, so
Yeah.
it's able to break through the magic, was what I was sort of thinking that was.
I'd kind of forgotten
Okay.
about the magic as well. So
No, that's fair enough. Yeah.
But also,
sure.
I was thinking about that brand theory, right?
Yeah.
And the issue with it is he is now the three-eyed raven who sees all that's happening and the past.
Yes.
So surely, if he was the three-eyed raven, he would be like, "Oh yeah, don't take me through the wall because I fuck everything up if that happens."
Yeah, no, but maybe everything had to be fucked up because maybe for this to all be resolved, the wall had to come down.
Nah, mate.
Okay, cool. Dan, any other likes? Because I realised you started at the beginning of episode 1 and then we sort of went off.
The rest of my notes are kind of I think probably the last 3 or 4. So Littlefinger, the whole I hated Littlefinger.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I just got bad vibes. And
But
I
he's
was
so
glad-
good at
creepy
scheming.
He was creepy. I'm glad he died. I'm really happy the way they killed him.
that was satisfying.
I think it made sense because going into the finale, I think I maybe said to Kat, like, they're not gonna kill any major players, I don't think, because they're gonna want to save that for the very final season, because the very final season is when like shit's gonna massively kick off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hope.
Yeah, so I figured they're gonna save like the A cast, if you will, for that, and if you then consider that like the B cast, I feel like Littlefinger is maybe the biggest name there that they could have killed off.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
He had it coming, to be fair.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, no, so here's my thing with that whole death, right? Is it feels like that death it fits in, and it was, it had to happen at some point, and I'm glad it did. But it also, part of me, the cynical part of me, can sort of see them being like, we've got to kill someone off, who can we do?
Yeah.
Littlefinger. But he's a baddie, and when a baddie dies in Game of Thrones, that to me doesn't feel the same as when, they murder one of my favourite characters. Because when a baddie dies, I'm like, oh, he was being bad, so he died. And when a good person dies, I'm like, oh no, this is horrible. Why did that person have to die? I loved them.
I think
so
there's
I'm a
gonna
little
be
bit
plenty
disappointed
of
that we
and-
didn't get a big one.
Oh, there's going to be plenty
Yeah.
of that, though.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I feel like this season they held back, and I get
They did,
that,
yeah.
But that's
Yeah,
also the
no,
fact
that's
that
true.
we're saying, oh, you can see that they are saving it for the next season. That's the antithesis of what Game of Thrones does, right? Because Game of
Yeah.
Thrones doesn't do what we're expecting.
Yeah.
And it's in this season, I feel like a lot of stuff has happened exactly how we could all predict,
That is
and
very
that to
true.
me is
I
boring.
made this point with Liam as well, because like a lot of the stuff that I don't read massively into the theories about what happens in Game of Thrones or what's going to happen.
Yeah,
But two of the main things that happened in the last episode were two things that were big theories that people have been talking about for a long time, which was Jon Snow's heritage and the Ice
Yep.
Dragon. Like, I
Yeah.
knew both of those things were coming.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a bit like, oh, well, no surprises there. But I guess at this stage in the story, you probably can predict more and more things that are going to happen as it comes to an end. Maybe.
Yeah, but I
would
think-
like it to have kept it up.
I think it's because, one, we know it's coming to an end, and two, you think, like, in the earlier seasons, we didn't really know what the end goal was necessarily, and as we get closer and closer to that, it's now a lot easier to see how all of the pieces fit together. It's like when you do a jigsaw puzzle, you if you didn't have the picture on the box to tell you what the puzzle was, and you dumped all the pieces out onto a table, you wouldn't necessarily know what the picture was going to be, but when you've already done like 7/8 of it, you probably have a good idea of what you're making a puzzle about.
I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah, but-
not ancient, so I don't know what a jigsaw puzzle is.
Yeah, we don't do them, Liam. You're talking about apps. You need apps.
Yeah.
Put it in app terms. It's like having Angry Birds, and you start with the red bird, and you're like, oh, this game's just me throwing red birds at a wall. And then you start unlocking more of the birds, and you're like, oh, I see. This is a bigger game than I thought.
That makes a lot
No,
more
that's
sense.
not at all what I was saying, though. That's not even a little
to be
bit.
fair, Liam, genuinely, right, I sort of disagree with you a little bit, because in the
Oh, here we
first
go.
season, we were immediately introduced to the White Walkers, and I think we all have known that this was always going to end with the White Walkers coming.
Yeah.
So I sort of
Yeah,
I
but
get
no,
what you're
but
saying.
we
in that,
see-
we didn't know where
yeah.
everyone would fit into that story, but it's not that this end has snuck up on us and suddenly we're like, oh God, the White Walkers and winter. It's all happening. We've always known. Like the entire house motto of Stark is "Winter is coming," and we finally got to the point where winter is here.
Yeah, winter's come all over our faces. But what
It
I'm
has
saying
indeed.
is, even in the first season, like you see the Walker in like the first episode, and then there's no more about them for the season, and it's pretty fair to be like, well, how does that fit in? I'm not sure what's going on, and I feel like we don't really get a good idea of the Walkers until season 4 maybe.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's fair enough. I get what you're saying.
Kat,
Yes.
give me a like that you had about the season.
I liked that it sort of still retained some of the humour that you expect from Game of Thrones. Like, there were definitely a few properly laugh out loud moments, especially in the last couple of episodes.
Yeah, mostly Tyrion and the Hound bring the comedy, I think.
Yeah, that's very true.
Although Jon Snow did get a little joke in the finale, which must have been nice for him.
Which one was that?
When he goes to talk to Daenerys and he's like, well, Tyrion's right. And she's like, what? And he's like, we're fucked. And they do a little smile together. Like, for him, that's a joke.
Yeah, that's about as jokey as you get with Jon Snow.
Well, he's a miserable bastard.
Yeah.
It's because they're Northerners. All the Northerners are miserable bastards.
Yeah. Maisie Williams, well, no, use their character names. Arya. Arya is probably the most chipper. But she got creepy.
I don't think her happiness is real happiness, Liam. I don't think she's a happy child that's just become a sort of assassin and is like, oh, what a merry world I live in. I think that she's using that as a mask to hide the horrible, horrible hatred that lies within her.
But she doesn't need masks now. She has her bag of faces.
That's even more masks.
Yeah, exactly. So she doesn't need this, like, happy facade. She could just put on a happy face. Wow. Literally.
Are we sure that it is Arya?
No, we're not.
I genuinely, there was a moment where I was like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if it wasn't Arya? And I also had this weird moment in the last episode where I was like, oh man, what if Littlefinger is a faceless man? And then that just went out the window quite quickly. But there was this moment where I was like, oh, he like caught her and she's meant to be this like super trained assassin. Like, and there was that moment where he sort of knew he was spying on him, and I was like, what if it turns out he's one of the nameless many-faced men?
Yeah, I feel like we're going to have a reveal at some point where someone who we think we know is going to be revealed to be one of the faceless men.
All the Starks are actually Ned Stark.
I think like Varys or someone could be interesting.
Speaking of Starks,
yeah.
Can we have to discuss Benjen's sudden and miraculous appearance twice in this series, I think?
Yeah, he's is it Deus Ex Machina? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
I think so.
That's what he is.
Yes.
Wait, what were the two? I remember there was the one with the horse and the fire.
So he helped Bran and then he helped Jon?
Yeah.
Or...
Was that in this season where he helped Bran?
Oh, maybe it wasn't. But either way,
No,
he just
not.
seems to be a convenient plot device that just pops up.
Yeah.
Oh, he definitely is, yeah.
Yes. But is that a like or a dislike?
It's neither, really. I guess out of the two, it will probably be a dislike, because it was a bit like... Especially the last one, where he comes along on his horse and he saves Jon Snow from all the White Walkers.
Well, maybe you need to
Yeah,
hold
and he's
your
like,
horse,
"Oh."
Cat, because we're going to get to our dislikes. Don't worry, we don't need to jump ahead to
Oh,
them.
you're too structured,
Oh,
Liam.
I
I think we should
apologise.
just freeball it.
Well, fuck it. No structures, no rules. This is the way Jack wants it. Let's just... I don't know.
Well, are there any more
Jack's
likes?
going to take control.
Are there any more likes?
I got a
There's
few
lots.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah.
Crack on. I'm taking control now.
Cat's in control now.
Somebody else jump in.
My lack of structure immediately collapsed and Cat took over.
Okay, I liked that there was more action in this one.
Yeah, that's what I
Like,
like.
not sorry. Let me rephrase that. I didn't like that there was necessarily more action, but I liked the action that we got.
Oh, I also like that there was more
Okay.
action.
But I was going to say more action is going to be happening though, right? Because it's
Yeah.
getting to a point where everybody is going to be fighting.
Yeah, and
Which is cool.
that was pretty cool. I also did like, again, a lot of my likes have little like dislikes attached to them. I liked that we got to see a lot of characters reuniting,
Yeah.
particularly in the last episode. But some of that did feel like fan pandering.
Go on, give an example.
I don't know if Brienne necessarily had to be at that meeting. Like, I like that she was there, and I like seeing her like reunite with Jaime and the Hound and all that sort of stuff. They were nice moments, but in the grand scheme of things, her being there,
It didn't
don't know
really
if
have
it
any consequence,
needed to.
did it?
Yeah,
Like,
No, that's true.
It felt more like maybe we haven't quite seen how that's going to play out, and maybe there is significance to her being there, but it felt more fan pleasing than story servicing.
I see, but then surely if it was fan pleasing, it would have had more of an impact. If you were trying to fan please, she'd have like gone off with Jamie. Jamie would have realised that fucking his sister's not the right thing
Yeah,
to
okay,
do.
but no, there's a difference between like fan pleasing and then just like writing your own bad fan fiction.
I'm going to write my own bad fan fiction for Game of Thrones.
Crack
That's
on.
the new thing. And then we're going to do another special where I force you all to read it.
Oh, good.
Great.
Do we all get to play a character?
Yes. Liam, you can be Jamie.
Okay, I've got a one hand.
I'll be Brienne.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's all we need.
perfect.
Sorry, guys.
So Kat and Dan can just be two dragons.
Sorry, I interrupted your point, Liam. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm just trying to think of like other things I liked because I did like a lot of it, but I also disliked quite a bit.
See, it's weird, right? Because you imposed the dislike-like rule on Kat, and now I feel like it's actually hindering you.
Yeah, it is.
100%.
Do you wish you hadn't said it?
No, I liked the performances pretty much across the board. I don't think there was a bad performance.
Ed Sheeran?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, come
yes.
on. How can we
yes.
forget that?
He wasn't
cameo?
bad at acting, but
Yeah.
it was weird having him in it, and
No,
I didn't
the
read
acting
it.
That-
was also bad.
That was a dislike that I was going to
He's
get
not
to,
an actor,
but
No, why is he in
He-
Game
So he
of
shouldn't have
Thrones?
been in
then?
it.
He
no.
should have
Okay.
been
No.
in
No. No.
it.
No. He should have
Yeah,
been.
yeah.
He should have been. But they
Oh.
should have done like a Star Wars Episode 7, where you know how like Daniel Craig plays a stormtrooper, and you wouldn't know that from watching the
Okay,
film.
yeah.
Yeah.
They should have
Yeah,
done something like
exactly.
that.
Peg and yeah.
Yeah. So I don't mind. Like they could have had him in it. I just don't think they should have had him in it the way they did.
I think it was
It was a
also
little
because they
cheesy
were
with them
like,
singing.
singing around the campfire and
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
yeah, it was just weird.
It was real cringy.
It
I
felt
don't
like-
understand.
It felt really out of place with the show because the acting was so bad as well that it just
Yeah.
made me physically cringe.
That was a huge dislike for me. But Jack was saying that we had to keep the dislikes and the likes separate.
I didn't say that. You said that.
But no, apart from Ed Sheeran, all the other performances were spectacular, as they tend to be.
Yeah, that's fair.
Should we move on to the dislikes?
Oh, so I don't get to do my likes, and Palmer doesn't get to finish his list? You ass.
Sorry, I've just got so excited. Go on, Jack. What did you like?
I liked the dragons.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Love me a good dragon. I liked the White Walkers. I like that we got a bit more about them.
What did we get about them?
I liked... he throws real good.
He does.
Yeah, but I feel like we didn't get a lot more. Like previous seasons have kind of given us more information about them. Like we see how they kind of raise the dead,
Yeah, but we
and
don't
like
really
we've.
need any more than that, do we? Like, we
I
I, don't know, I think
I
there's
would-
still more information to be gleaned from them.
I'd like
Why
to
is
see
it
them coming
necessary?
home in an evening to their family,
Yeah.
cooking
Yeah.
a meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see the Night King on an off day.
Yeah, when he's just like kicking back.
Yeah,
Can-
like,
can
do
they
him and the
fall?
other White Walkers talk to each other?
can they even talk?
Exactly. These are questions we need answered.
Exactly. So there's more to go with the lore.
Also, I'd like to know where the hell they got those chains from.
Yeah, that's a good question. Also, like, there's someone said to me, I think it was when because I watched not the last episode, but the episode before, like twice, because I watched it when I was round at Dan Palmer's house, and someone there said that how did they get the chains down to the dragon because they can't swim? And I was like, oh well, maybe that's they haven't specifically said they can't swim, but then in the last episode they very specifically said the White Walkers can't swim, so it doesn't make any
Sacrifice.
sense that they got those chains down there. Yeah, but if they can't swim at all, the implication is that once they go in water, they die, right? Otherwise, they can swim. They're dead people. I don't understand.
Well, they can fall to the bottom, right? And then still tie it on. They just can't get back
But
up.
if they can do that, then they can walk to the island. That's
Oh, yeah,
100%. Because
Yeah, I agree.
So-
And I
But
thought-
okay, but
and they've sort of made it sound like they can't do that.
yeah, we haven't actually seen what happens once they hit the water. Like,
Maybe that's going to be in season 8. Maybe. Do you know what? I genuinely would love a scene if they explained it by being like, no, we never said we can't swim. We have no idea where you got that information from. Like, yes, of course they can swim. They're dead people. They
well,
just
I
walk
imagine
along
like
the bottom.
the other thing is maybe they can't necessarily swim.
But they
and
could walk along the
we've
bottom,
only
right?
yeah, but we've
Yeah.
only seen them in like lakes and stuff, right? So if they're kind of lakes that have been made out of like craters, then maybe the sides are too steep for them to get back up. Whereas if it
Oh,
was
maybe, yeah.
a more gradual incline, they're fine.
I feel like we might be reading into it a little bit too much.
That's going to happen. That's
Yeah.
going to happen when we start talking about what do we think will happen next. There'll be a lot of reading into things too much.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
That's
That's my list. Dan, what else was on your list?
So I got two more things, which is
Okay.
I like the whole Sam and Maester bit, with him going there,
Yep.
going
Yeah.
behind their backs and doing shit, healing Jorah from Grayscale.
yeah, Jorah the Explorer.
and then being like, do you know what? fuck the Maesters, I'm going to go back.
Yeah, it turns out the Maesters actually sort of don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think that's because I just really like Sam.
Yeah, he's
Sam's
fucking
great.
great.
Yeah,
really
Sam's
character.
brilliant. I like that. The only bit I didn't really quite gel with was the bit where it's like a weird musical montage of him like cleaning out bedpans and stuff.
Oh yeah.
That felt a
I
bit
thought that
out
was
of
good.
place.
No, I thought that was good. That established the
Okay.
monotony of what he was doing.
Yeah, I guess. I just thought it was a bit odd.
I mean, I think that's what they were trying to do. So I feel like they succeeded on that bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like they didn't.
Okay.
Fair enough.
And then the other thing I got is the bit in the last episode where Jamie is just done with Cersei's shit, and he's
Oh yeah, that was
done
great.
with it, and he just rides off. That's it. He's done.
Was
I'm
there a
out.
moment where you were worried
Yes.
that it was going to happen?
Yes.
A little, yeah.
What
I was genuinely sitting there going, "No, please don't do this."
I want to see the scene where she sits down with the mountain and she goes, "Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to nod once, and that means don't kill him. Okay? If I nod twice,
Kill him.
then you kill him."
But once is just threatened to kill him,
Yeah,
leave it at that.
yeah. I'd like to have seen that because I when she does the nod, I was like, "Oh shit, he's done for."
Yeah.
I do
That was a good
like
scene, though.
the mountain.
That would have been very Game of Thronesy to kill him as well, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. See, I kind of wish they had, because that would have satisfied my, I feel like you're meant to kill a character.
Yeah, but maybe that's why they didn't because they thought that you would expect it.
Yeah, but then they've just sort of fallen into a trope of now not doing it, and now I feel like that's
Yeah. Okay, but
Do you know
I
what I
guess with Game of Thrones now, because we know to expect the unexpected, they kind of can't win.
No, but I feel like they could still think of something totally unexpected.
I mean,
'Cause there were a couple of
ultimately, it
things
would
that
have
happened
still
that I was
been
like,
really
whoa.
shocking for that to happen.
Yeah, if Jamie had died, none of us would have been like, yeah, I thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's
there wasn't,
true.
in the rest of the episode, I wasn't like, oh, I think Jamie's the one they're going to kill. It was only
Yeah,
that
that's true.
scene when it happened, I was like, oh god, are they going to?
Yeah.
Okay, so the way that they have to kill some characters now are just by accidents. So if Jamie was
Oh,
leaving
yeah.
the castle and fell down some stairs and just died,
Yeah. Yeah.
then we're not,
I would love that.
not expect
Or-
that.
Oh, he's used to the south, right? So he rides north. He's not dressed for it. He gets hypothermia, dead.
Someone chokes to death and you all think it's poison, and then one of the maesters just goes, no, he actually choked to death.
Yeah.
It was a grape. He didn't chew his
He
grape.
he swallowed the whole grape. What an idiot.
What a bell end. I have a question.
Go on.
There's a scene where we see Melisandre and Grey Worm get naked.
I like this.
What happened there?
What
So they
happened
just, like-
there?
Did they
They
just
had-
like
they-
mush together?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, they did as much as they could.
But
Yeah.
what does that entail?
Maybe just Grey Worm
Well, I d-
pleasured her, and that was about it. Maybe he
Yeah.
got very little out of the situation.
He's just a
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, he
He's
he
a
probably didn't
generous
get
lover,
much
that's
sexual
all.
satisfaction.
No, maybe,
Okay. So this was just all about her.
I think so.
Well, no, it's about him. So he gets the joy of he loves her, and he gets to make her feel good, right?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't. You're very selfish, Liam.
He had the pleasure of being in her company.
Yeah, she seems like a nice girl. I'm sure Grey Worm was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, she can speak like 19 languages, right?
I bet, how many does Grey Worm speak? 2?
If that.
Well, no, he does speak 2, because he speaks Common and then whatever their language is.
Yeah, unsullied.
3, he speaks the language of love quite clearly.
Yeah. But you know, I just that raised more questions than I felt it answered. Like, I just would have liked them to have shown what they were doing.
Yeah.
Maybe with
No,
diagrams.
No,
Well,
I'm
but-
glad they didn't. It didn't need to be shown.
Yeah, you definitely you know what they were doing.
I can theorise.
I don't know if Liam does, Dan, is the scary
No, it
thing.
sounds like he doesn't, which is concerning.
In my head, I'm picturing like the way they could have done it is just filmed to like a Ken doll and a Barbie doll.
She has a vagina?
So does Barbie.
No,
What?
What? What?
Anyway,
Barbie
moving
dolls
on.
don't have vaginas.
Yeah, let's move
Moving
on.
on.
Yeah, I feel like that's a
Jesus.
good idea.
Yeah, for me, going back to like what I was saying at the beginning, with a dislike, because are we all right to move on to dislikes now? Is that
Yeah, I
allowed?
think so.
I just thought the pacing was like way off. Like it was just way too. It was basically, here's a plot beat. We need to get to this plot beat. There's a load of exposition because we need to explain the plot beat. Right, okay. We haven't had any action this episode, so now we have an action scene. now another plot beat, more exposition, episode done. And it felt that way all the way up until the finale, and the last episode felt more in line with like classic Game of Thrones, where you actually had scenes of good tension, scenes of like scheming. Like, one of my favourite things that Game of Thrones does is, there's an event coming, and it shows you the plans of one side that are to do with that event, and you're like, okay, I understand their plans, I understand what they want to do at this event, and I understand why they want to do it. Then you see the other like people involved in that event, and you understand their plans, and then when that event inevitably goes south, it kind of trusts the audience to go, oh, I can see why this is really bad for everyone. Whereas I felt like we didn't get a lot of that this season until the last episode.
No, that's very true. And I'm in two minds about it, because I see your point and I like the scheming as well. So it was a little bit much, and a bit, like you said, sort of a bit of a repetitive structure. But
Yeah.
I did like the faster pace at the same time, because it just felt much more kind of thrilling watching it, because I guess it's because there was some quite impressive like battle scenes and stuff in this series.
Yeah.
that
There were-
I
I
quite
think-
enjoyed.
I think my issue with the pacing comes down to the fact that they've gone, we're doing 16 more episodes and that's that. And I feel like that decision has been made more for maybe financial reasons than for reasons that are like, this is what the story needs to be kind
What
of
do you mean?
completed properly.
What do you mean financial reasons?
Well, it's an expensive show to make.
Yeah, I feel like this season probably cost them more than the other seasons.
So that's
Look at
why
all the CGI they had in.
So that's why they've done 8 episodes this season instead of your usual 10 for
So they had to
financial reasons.
condense, like the equivalent of those however many episodes it usually is into a lot less.
Yeah. And also, I imagine
I
the
see what you're
cast are kind of like to keep the cast coming back, like as the cast get bigger and bigger throughout the success of this show, is also going to get more expensive.
I think that's cynical to assume that.
Perhaps, but I feel like if you were to actually go, wait, how much screen time does this story need to be told satisfactorily? I don't think 16 would have been the number that they would have landed on. Because I feel like there was so much that we didn't see in this season that we could have.
Like what?
Like, when you have all of these big action-y things happening, what we don't get, by having just exposition and action and plot beats, we lose the characterization. We don't have those, like, quiet moments, or just the moments where it's just purely, like, two characters talking and we're just learning more about the characters and not necessarily about the story overall.
Well, maybe the assumption
But
now
playing-
is that you know enough about the characters because we've had 7 seasons.
Yeah,
of them.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe when you compare it to even last season, it's a very different way of telling the story.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the thing is, Liam, regular listeners to Nerd on Nerd will know that you just fucking love people talking and doing shit all. You love Mumblecore. You wished Avengers was just them all sitting down having a chat.
No, not the first Avengers, specifically Age of
Avengers,
Ultron.
Age of Ultron. You just wanted them to all talk it out.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like that might explain your sort of dislike of the lack of talking. I'm on Cat's side. Like that was a joke, Liam. I'm sorry. I'm not.
No, it's
detracting from
fine,
your
Jack.
point.
You can have your
But
little
I feel like
comedy.
I sort of agree with Kat on that. I feel like the characters have had their characters established. Like we
Had
look at
6
Jon Snow
seasons.
and you're like, yeah, I know what Jon Snow's about and what the Hound's about. I feel like this season was them being like, right,
But
these characters are now sort of meeting each other, and it's that playing out. And
if
like,
you have that
I disagree that we
argument-
haven't had it because we have.
If you have the argument, you could have equally had the same opinion last season. Oh, we've had 5 seasons, so we know what these characters are about now. But we still got
No.
moments.
I'm not saying that I wish that they had stopped building the characters. I can just see the argument for I know what these characters are about.
yeah, that's
so
what
the
I
fact that
feel
they've
as well.
dropped it, I'm not saying they should have or they shouldn't have. I'm just saying I can see why they did.
It just
And
felt-
also, I feel like you're skipping over the fact that we had John in Dragonstone for like 4 episodes.
Yeah, we
So,
did, but it
like,
just felt like they've really streamlined the story now.
I don't know. I disagree. I think it feels that way because we've had the quick travelling, which is really irritating, and I agree. I don't particularly like the way they've been zooming all over the place. But I still think enough story was done. I think that we had plenty of story from the main sides. I think there are less sides now in the conflict. Like Daenerys' camp in other seasons have been like, oh, it's us versus these 2 other factions within our own groups. Like you had the the like rebel group of her own people against her. Then you had the slavers, and now she's one team. So I think we've lost some of the sides in the battle, and that makes it seem like they can't focus on that because they're not there anymore. So I think it feels quicker. I just don't necessarily think that that's an issue they've had. I think there are reasons for it.
Do you think maybe some of the like big action moments that have happened, we haven't had chance for our characters that we've seen to like properly reflect on that?
What do you...
The only one that I think that works on is the Unsullied at Castle Rock. I think that first bit
that's a great
where
point.
they took it.
Yeah,
That's the only one though. The other ones I think we've had reflection on it. Like Jaime's when the Lannisters get blown up by dragons. There was a lot of back, you've got Tyrion trying to deal with the fact that he's killed his own people. You had Jaime being like, oh wait, we can't win this war. So I think only the Unsullied one. That was the main one where I was like, no one is talking about this.
That was really like, I hated the fact that something that in previous seasons we would have probably seen play out over like 2 or 3 episodes, we had just condensed into one like real like ball achingly bad scene of exposition.
I didn't think it was bad.
No, you had some of the battle. Yeah, I don't think it was bad.
No, the scene wasn't bad, just the way they did the exposition was, where it was literally just Jaime being like, I'm now just going to explain to you everything that's happening in a way that isn't really how people like organically speak. It's that trope in like the James Bond movies where the villain's like, and before I kill you, I will tell you my wonderful plan.
I don't remember what specific moment you're talking about, if I'm honest.
So it's when he's going to poison Lady What's-Her-Face.
Oh, I'm glad we come up with this scene, because I enjoyed that bit.
So he's going to poison her, and as he's kind of talking to her, he's literally explaining everything that's happening, and it's cutting back to like scenes at Castle Rock and stuff, but he is basically explaining to her exactly what they've done. Like, oh yeah, so we've cleaned out the food and all that sort of stuff. And
yeah, but that feels
blah,
organic.
blah, blah.
I mean, to me, I
Yeah,
It didn't to me.
Like
It felt like exposition. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, but how else could they have done it?
The way they would have normally done it over like 2 episodes, where you'd have seen it actually happening properly.
Yeah, no. So that's the problem, Liam. Is that's not interesting. Like it's interesting when
they
they've done
would
it
have
before
made it
on big set
interesting.
pieces. I'll be honest, Liam. The Unsullied taking Castle Rock and us finding out that Castle Rock is not that important to the Lannisters. That would be boring. I don't want 2 episodes where they're doing all this big shit, and then at the end, Jaime just goes, "Actually, we didn't really care about Casterly Rock." So, good job, team.
I have faith that the Game of Thrones writing team would have made that interesting.
No, you don't have faith. I
Really?
have faith in that. I think they did well.
Dan, you've been quiet. What's your stance on the pacing?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Dan.
As my input. Though I kind of get some of the stuff did feel quick.
Yeah.
I'm kind of struggling to think of other bits. There's so much of the kind of stuff that was going on.
A lot happened.
Yeah.
Like another bit that felt a bit too quick to me was the whole, I can't remember the guy's name, the guy who kidnapped Yara.
Euron.
Euron.
That whole battle felt very quick as well.
Really?
The ship battle.
Yeah, that was over pretty quickly. He just sort of comes like storming in, fucks everything up, and done. It was over within like a couple of minutes. And you think like other times when we've seen quite big important battles, they've done like whole episodes on one battle. And I'm not saying they should have done a whole episode, but comparatively to then have like maybe 5 minutes, it was like, that was dealt with pretty quickly.
And maybe that
But
was
also,
the point.
they're not. Yeah, I don't think these are as important battles.
Okay.
And that felt
Like that wasn't.
felt to me like essentially like a, this is going to sound weird, but it sounded like a sort of pirate invasion type battle thing where everything kind of happens pretty quickly because they're pirates.
Yeah.
Okay. It felt too quick to me.
You're just fussy.
I think you're just getting old.
That's it.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Probably.
You just don't like it. You want them to all settle down. They're all being too raucous.
Yeah, I think, they finally all meet. They should have been able to kind of discuss a good solution.
They try.
They did try. They failed.
A little bit.
Anyway, does anyone else have any dislikes?
I'm trying to think.
I can't think of things that annoyed me. It's more just things that.
What about Bran?
Oh, Bran's just generally
I like
annoying.
Bran.
What?
Nope, I disagree. I like Bran.
What? Why?
I think so. Okay, genuinely, I'm going to defend my stance on Bran because I've been having to do it this whole season.
I'm not surprised.
Right? So Bran, I will admit, is an irritating character in the early seasons. He's annoying. He's all like, "Oh, I'm just going to watch 2 people fuck and then get pushed out a window and break my back."
Wait, what?
Whatever.
How's that
I'm gonna get
annoying?
dragged around. Oh, it just is Liam. He's such a child. Oh, I'm
That
going
was
to
like the
climb up
first-
this tower.
That was like the first
He
episode.
disobeyed Ned Stark. You never disobey Ned Stark.
That was the first
He's a
episode and the
sensible
first
man.
moment when I was like, oh shit, this show is very different.
Oh, no, yeah, it was incredible. But also,
I was not like,
Bran being a kid.
Bran's annoying at this one moment.
Then he gets dragged around for like 5 seasons.
Well, he
and you're
disappears
like,
for an
"Oh."
entire season, doesn't he? They were just like, we don't know what to do with his storyline. He's not in
Yeah, he just
season
vanished.
5 or something.
But, right, this season, I feel like I like the fact that he's come back as this three-eyed raven. He's throwing... Everyone's like, oh, Bran, I'm so happy to see you. I can't believe you're alive. And he's just like, I watched you get raped. And they're like, oh, okay, cool, Bran. I'm real glad you're here. Like, his whole character now is just this insane prophecy dude who is ruining everyone's lives.
That's why I hate
It's great.
him,
I love it.
Because he's literally like...
Yeah, but that's great.
He's the like cause of so many issues. And like, if he...
But he isn't, though. He's not done too much wrong. Because a lot of that was on the assumption that, like, Liam's argument for him being bad was the same as that theory that Liam said earlier about I like the idea it's all Bran's fault because he's broken the magic on the wall. And we've got evidence now that Bran hasn't done that.
No, but that's not why I disliked him. I wasn't like, oh, I
just
dislike
don't
Bran
like
because
him.
he's ruined everything. I disliked him because he's annoying.
Oh, for me,
He's
it's a
not,
bit
though.
like-
He's... I don't think he's been annoying this season at all.
I think he was okay. If you look at Bran as essentially a plot device, because that's what he is. His whole purpose at the moment is to reveal Jon's heritage.
Yeah.
I think they used him well in the finale for the first time. Every other time when he's done his three-eyed raven stuff, I've just been like, you're annoying. Why are you talking so cryptically? Just sit down and say to Sansa, look, this is what's going on with me right now. It's really difficult. Stop. He's acting like some sort of weird, pretentious emo teenager.
I think I've figured it out, Liam.
Okay.
So I think that your robotic heart
Yeah.
learned years ago how to communicate with people. Because I feel like on the inside you are very much like Three-Eyed Raven Bran. I feel like you probably
seen
see the
everything.
past, the present, and the future. But you've learned to communicate with people, and you're just annoyed that Bran hasn't. Because that's what that is, right? That legitimately, that's what it's meant to be. The reason Bran can't sit down and not be cryptic is because he's fucking seeing everything at once and like living in this insane world of visions,
Can I say
right?
one Bran moment that I actually quite liked in the series? And it was
Go
it
for
was
it.
when he was talking to Littlefinger and he says the phrase "chaos is a ladder." I think it was,
Yes.
and that was
Yes.
something
That
that
was great.
Littlefinger had said before, and it was that sort of moment of knowing on his face that he was like, "Oh fuck, this guy knows things."
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah,
That's what I like what Bran's
like
been
that.
doing.
There's moments where they do use his ability well, and there's other moments where
It's
he's
just
annoying.
weird and annoying. Yeah, agree.
I'm upset he didn't talk through that tree. There was that tree with a
Yeah.
face on it behind him, and
Yeah.
nothing happened with that whatsoever.
Yeah, what was that all about?
Because he's sitting at that a lot.
Yeah.
Is that going to have some sort of significance later on, or?
It's got right. It's because
what's
it's
the
part of
face?
the. It's the old gods, right, or something.
Something like
it's
that,
all
yeah.
tied into that stuff.
Also, maybe he should stop walking into birds and going and checking up on the Night King, because the Night King always seems to just immediately look at him as soon as he arrives.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
I'd just
Night King's
maybe
not-
calm down doing it, to be honest. It doesn't seem to be helping
Nah.
things.
If I was Bran, you'd be lucky if I even helped you at all, because I'd be so busy walking into all the animals and just exploring.
Just humping everything.
I'd walk a dragon, to be honest, and that'd be it.
No, I feel like
I'm
that's
surprised
smart
we haven't
to
seen
do.
that.
Yeah.
Do you think he's gonna?
Maybe he can't.
Do you think he's gonna walk into the undead dragon and turn it against the walkers?
Nah, no. I don't think he'll be able to walk into an undead creature.
No, that's probably
Okay.
a caveat of being a three-eyed raven. Can't
That's
be
in
that.
the-
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
in the rules.
I mean,
Yeah.
this could have been some of the Walker lore that they could have established.
It really doesn't feel necessary.
Any other dislikes?
That the Queen of Thorns, or whatever her name is no longer with us.
Okay.
That makes me sad. Although she went with a blaze of glory, but she was a great character.
She was good, but equally. But also, I'm surprised at how quickly they dealt with the Sand Sisters. Is that what they were called?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we saw her daughter get poisoned, right?
Yeah.
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 But we didn't see the other one die, right? You didn't see the mother die.
Yeah.
We did see her die?
No, we didn't. We didn't.
Okay, so yeah.
We didn't even see the daughter die. We just saw her get poisoned.
We just know
But
that they're
we know-
locked in a dungeon.
But we know she's poisoned, and we're assuming that she's probably going to die. But so the mother's still locked up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Do we think that's gonna? Do we think that's them dealt with, or do we think that's going to come back in the next season?
They're going to come
Yeah,
back.
it's got
Because
to.
as soon as there's not an on-screen death, you have to assume at this point that Game of Thrones are using it.
Even if there is
How
an
did-
on-screen death, they sometimes come back.
Yeah.
That's true.
How did we feel about Gendry? His return at last.
Happy?
Well,
Yeah.
I thought, Kat, you would have had a lot more to say about that because you were
I
like
love me a
squealing
bit
all
of
over the
Gendry.
place.
Yeah,
That's one of the
Why do you like him so much, Kat?
no reason.
No, go on. Why do you
Fair
like him?
He's a good-looking guy. Although, what doesn't make sense to me is after all of that rowing that he did, because that's basically what he did the whole time, he seems to have lost weight and muscle. He looked a bit skinny, and I'm thinking all that rowing would have, built up a bit more muscle, but apparently not.
One of
He
the
swung that big hammer.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
he wields a massive hammer, so he's got to have strength to use that.
He just looked a little bit, like he needed some food or something.
It's because you're too used to looking at Liam's musculature.
That's it.
You're
That's
just
what
used
it
to
is.
that Adonis body.
yeah,
Body full of chili.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, just tight chili abs.
Oh yeah. That's one of the character meetings that I want to see is him meeting up with Arya again.
Yeah, that would be good. That
Yeah.
should hopefully happen.
Again, this was a thing that I liked, but again, it is going back to the fan pandering. I don't know if it necessarily needed to be here, but I did like when Arya goes to Pie. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Hot pie.
It's pot pie, isn't it?
Hot Pie. Yeah, I liked
Pie,
that
Hot Pie.
interaction.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of the two.
Yeah.
It's a something OT pie.
That's a perfect example of, I feel like that was put in there to please the fans, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
What about Jorah being cured? That felt
Hooray!
it felt good, but also, what was the point of all that?
Yeah, because I thought when he kind of came back to Daenerys, it would be like this really big moment because of his feelings for her, etc. But it seems he's automatically resided himself to, okay, well, Jon Snow is clearly attracted to her and vice versa, and therefore I'm not even going to bother anymore.
Well, he knows that she ain't about that. She's not interested in him in that way.
She's made it clear to him before, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
But there's still...
I mean, she was a little bit sort of, when he came back. I was like, oh, there's still something there, but...
Yeah, but I feel like I think she sees him more as a fatherly figure than a I want to bone you figure. Although this is Game of Thrones.
This is Game of Thrones,
so...
Liam. That's one and the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
But he's obviously not even really her kind of advisor or hand anymore. So I feel like he might die early on
Yeah.
in the next part of the series.
Yeah.
Next series.
So is there
He's going to be one that falls
anything?
downstairs.
That's it.
Is there anything in the finale specifically that we want to talk about, or do we just want to go into what we think will happen next?
We already talked about Littlefinger's death, sort of, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about the Hound and the Mountain meeting up?
I liked that.
Is that Clegane Bowl confirmed, do you think?
Well, I want to know what he was talking about when he said that. Was it? He said something like, "She's coming."
This
or-
isn't the way it ends for you, brother. Something along those lines, yeah.
It was. This isn't the way it ends. You know who's coming for you. I think he was talking about himself, as in, I'm coming to kill you.
Or was it
You know that
Arya?
no one else can kill you.
Does he know that?
Oh, maybe that.
Does he know about Arya's list and who's on it?
Maybe.
Because, okay, I'm in two minds. Because one, I really want to see Clegane Bowl, but two, I really want to see Arya fight the Mountain, and I don't want the Mountain to win Clegane Bowl.
No, I think he would though. He's an undead superhuman at this point, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like that's no competition, is it?
He looks like
Yeah,
he's
the
ready
Hound's-
to pop as well.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
If she just prods him with her
Needle.
rapier or whatever, little knife, yeah, it'll just pop.
Just everything falls out. I have a question.
Yeah.
Right. You
Yeah.
know the Mountain's got his new armor or
Yeah.
his armor that he's wearing. What was
Yeah.
with all the other people wearing it? Because she had all the Lannister guards and the house guards, but suddenly there's all these people wearing Mountain armor.
I don't know. I didn't really notice, to be
No, I
honest.
didn't.
I was so there was a whole scene where her personal guard came in and it's new armor. Maybe it's just because she's done her redesign because it wasn't the old gold
She's had a rebrand.
armor.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, she did. She got on that throne and she was like, "I'm going to wear this cool black leather dress." She definitely sat down with some Westeros fashion designer who was like, "Oh, Cersei, trust me, I'm going to make you look darling."
Wow. I quite liked. Is it? What's her little advisor's name? Is it like Qyburn?
I don't know.
The Grandmaster.
The guy that made the mountain.
The scientist.
I liked his reaction to seeing the Walker.
Where he just started picking bits up.
It was as if he was like, "Mummy, can I have one?"
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, it was like, "Oh,
someone else has done this better than me."
Yeah, exactly. I liked seeing that.
That was quite a fun moment, actually. Like that whole sort of scene when the Hound is just kind of opening the box and nothing's happening, and then he sort of kicks it over.
I thought it would be dead.
Like,
I thought it was going to be dead, and then just be an awkward scene where everyone's like, "Cool, you just showed us a decayed corpse."
That whole scene to me, like the whole like them arriving at that huge like stadium and all of the dialogue. That to me is like peak Game of Thrones. That's what I watch it for.
It's that
like,
tension, isn't it, between...
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I think the rest of the season was lacking. Is like even the scene when they're beyond the wall, right, and they're going to capture this Walker, and you have that moment where they're essentially on like a rock in a lake, and the Walkers are waiting for it to freeze over so they can come and attack. I felt like that scene was meant to be really tense, but because there wasn't really enough time to kind of let the gravity of it sink in, it didn't feel as tense as just them going to the stadium to have a conversation. Like that felt so much more tense for some reason.
It was quite cheesy when they were stuck on the ice. Like you knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, they did the Hound throwing that rock. Like, because I didn't understand what the point of that was, because they're all standing at the edge of the ice. How would the White Walkers and the Walkers not look down and been like, "Oh, it's frozen again"?
They're pretty simple creatures.
I mean, yeah, but you just every now and again you'd send out one of your whites and go, "Hey, you cross. If you fall in." I mean, they're undead and not thinking, except the White Walkers themselves. So you just fucking sacrifice one every now and again.
I feel like they're
also,
not doing that.
We saw the Night King throw a spear really well.
I was going to say, like, I feel like it's more displaying how intelligent they are by staying where they were until they knew it was safe. Like, I think it's pretty clear that the White Walkers are smarter than your average, like, undead being.
Zombie. Yeah.
No. But so the White Walkers are, but the undead horde aren't particularly. Like, we saw a bunch of them just run into the ice. Clearly, the White Walkers are like in control and like, right, cool, stop, let's wait.
Yeah, I guess so.
That I'm on board with. But then I would have imagined, because clearly when the Hound threw it, the ice had already solidified. Surely one of the White Walkers, the like higher up ones, should have been like looking to check when the ice was frozen.
It would have been hard to see with a horde in front
They lost
of him.
the element of surprise, Liam. I'm upset with the Night King. He wasn't being tactical. He's upset me.
I feel like he got what he wanted out of that situation, though.
I mean, he definitely did.
It was. So that's the other thing, right? So surely, maybe that was part of the plan to wait them out.
Yeah.
How does he know?
Maybe he's got like Bran's little ability to see shit.
Maybe
he caught a raven.
Maybe.
That's the way it was. Maybe he's just super smart.
It could be.
I feel like that.
There is a theory. There's a theory that I don't buy into. I think it's bullshit. But there's a theory that Bran is the Night King somehow.
I mean, yeah, that just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it's bullshit. But that is a theory that's floating around. Did anyone else have anything about the finale specifically that they either liked or didn't like?
Nothing springs to mind.
No.
I've got one.
Go on, Jack.
I liked Theon's scene.
That was good.
He's sort of redeeming himself. I liked his apology to Jon Snow and Jon's forgiveness.
Yeah.
And then I like the fact that he beat a man to death.
Yeah, that was nice.
I like that basically it's kind of like that fight scene was essentially almost what he's been like prepared for. Like he's so used to taking a beating now.
Yeah.
That to him that was like nothing. Although that scene where he gets kneed in that area and he's just like, that's still gonna hurt you, right? Like,
yeah, but not like it would. The bit that hurts Liam is your testicles, and he hasn't got there
okay,
anymore.
yeah, they're not there, but he's gonna have some sort of like, if anything, it might hurt more because he's gonna have some sort of mangled, fucked up like wound there, right?
No, Liam, because it's been months since he had it cut off. It's not going to be just a gaping wound.
No, it's not going to be like gaping and bleeding still.
It's not going to be a wound.
Do you not think that's still going to hurt?
It's going to be scar tissue.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not going to hurt.
It would no. It would still hurt, but it would hurt as much as being kneed in the leg, and he'd already taken a bunch of like.
Oh,
beatings.
okay. Would it not hurt as much as being like kneed in the vagina?
No.
No!
No?
A vagina isn't just a cut-off penis, Liam.
Is it not?
Oh
What
my god.
is happening here?
Okay, anyway, I like that scene too.
Move
Yeah.
on.
That was a good scene. Now let's move on.
Do we think Reek is now dead, or do we think Reek is going to reappear in the last season?
I think he's dead now. I think he's
Yeah.
been
Theon
put to rest.
Greyjoy now.
Yeah. What, Theon Greyjoy - Stark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jon Snow's like, you can be both. Why not?
But Jon Snow's not even a Stark. Or a Snow.
How do we feel about... Okay, let's get into it. There's incest. How do we feel about the incest?
Well, I feel like you can't...
At this point,
Yeah. It's no biggie.
they don't know.
So this is a discussion that I know me, Jack and Dan were having, right? Where it's like, when you find out, how would you feel about that?
I mean, he's Jon Snow. He's like the honourable one, right? So when he finds out, which he will,
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's going to be like, we have to talk about this, and also maybe I shouldn't be putting my penis inside you.
What if she's already pregnant now?
They're having a fucked up kid.
Can I just quick... Well, they're what? Aunt and nephew?
Dragon
Yeah.
wings.
I mean, what if she does just give birth to a third dragon again?
Do you remember...
Kind of bad.
Do you remember in like season 2 or 3 where the Red Witch gives birth to like a weird shadow thing that just went
Oh,
around
yeah.
killing a bunch
Yeah.
of people?
Yeah.
Maybe something like that again.
Maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
That's another thing, right? I feel like the Red Witch is such an interesting character that we didn't get to see enough of this season, because there was a scene, I think, last season or the one before, where she has a bath. Do you remember
Was that
this?
the old lady scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's this like proper haggard old lady, and I want to know more about what's going on with all of that.
I feel
I
like
thought it
there's
was
a lot
pretty
of...
apparent.
Go
Like,
on, what was it?
what?
But no, it's just that she's got a magic thing that's keeping her looking young, right? It's
that
not
it?
like... Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think it's going to turn out to be some sort of like thing that saves the world. She's not going to like chuck it on the Night King and he's going to turn into a small child.
That'd be awesome.
But
I just want more of her being weird.
I feel like there's probably quite a lot of sort of plot lines like that about characters. In a show that has so many different characters, are we really going to have all of their stories tied up neatly in a
No.
bow by the time the series is
No,
finished?
yeah.
No, we're not.
No. So,
We're not, because they've gone, we're doing 16 episodes and that's it, and they've not been smart about it and gone, wait, how many episodes should we have actually done?
Oh, chill out, Liam.
Oh, you chill out, Jack.
Get over it.
Can I talk about the bit I wanted to talk about?
Please do.
So, this season, we also discovered that Cersei is pregnant. Right.
Are you using air quotes?
Yeah, that
Good.
Cersei is pregnant.
Thank you.
Because as we all remember, there was a prophecy,
Oh god, here we go.
which she had when she was a child, and she asked specifically, how many children will I have?
Yeah.
And the prophecy lady said, the king will have 20 children, and you will have 3. Gold
Yeah.
will be their crowns, gold their shrouds.
Yeah.
She has had 3 children,
Yeah.
and they have all died.
Yeah.
So, what does that mean? What is this? I suspect it's all a lie.
Yes.
Ruse.
She just wants Jaime to be on her side. That's all it is.
I think she could also be using it now to turn Tyrion onto her side.
And she,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
also think they might play a she's gone a bit mad card. Like it's a phantom pregnancy where she's
Oh,
actually
potentially.
just
Yeah.
so desperate to continue the Lannister line that she's just imagining it.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
Springboarding off of your point, Jack, do we think Tyrion's going to turn bad for the last season?
No.
Well, I've heard Liam's theory on this, which I'm sure he's about to tell you, and I was slightly convinced that it could happen.
I think he might turn bad for the last season.
Go on in.
Go on.
Let me take you back to 1993.
I don't say
Well,
it word
what?
for word to what you told me about an hour ago.
Oh, that was me practicing.
Mix it up a bit.
What
Right.
happened in 1993?
What about
There was a young
994?
whippersnapper who wanted to be an author. His name was George R.R. Martin.
My God, yeah, okay. What is happening?
Alright, so this is going like deep into like theories and shit here, okay?
Oh, good.
He when he was writing to his publishers being like, I want to write this thing, here's a rough outline of what I want to happen. His initial outline was that Jon Snow, and bear in mind some of this has changed, okay? But his initial outline was Jon Snow was going to fall in love with his sister Arya, okay?
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. So that's changed slightly.
Thankfully.
Yeah,
But
Well, I
it
dunno, that
still
could
has the
still happen.
incest. Yeah.
that could happen.
Also, what was going to happen was Tyrion was going to also fall for Arya, and she was not going to respond to his advances, okay? And essentially, it was setting him up. It was going to make him a bit bitter and it was going to set him up to be an antagonist for this like Arya and Jon Snow relationship. Now, obviously, that's not happening with Arya. That's happening with Daenerys. Okay, so I like you. Immediately after watching the finale, I was like, I don't buy Tyrion being bad, because I felt like they were kind of hinting at it with him like creepily watching them have the sex.
He was.
There was the creepy. Yeah, there was that. He was looking at a closed door.
Yeah.
Right.
He was
yeah.
imagining.
So now
yeah, he was just like, oh, I bet she looks good.
Okay, now if we consider certain things from the perspective of now thinking, does Tyrion have feeling for Daenerys, which I don't think has necessarily been developed very well in the show, but there's enough seeds that I've got this like doubt in my mind. So the first thing, do you remember when she fancied that is it Dario guy?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Which one was he?
He was like a leader of one of the like sub armies within her group.
Okay, yeah,
He was quite foxy.
And Tyrion suggested sending him away because she had to focus on her responsibilities. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, I don't know if I necessarily buy Tyrion falling in love with Daenerys, but here's where I buy him potentially turning against her. We didn't see the ending of the conversation between him and Cersei, and he made it very clear at the start of the conversation that regardless of his feelings towards his sister, he always doted on her children, okay?
Yep.
If he believes that she is pregnant, and I also feel like there is a scene that they made a lot of when they, in the like, the way they showed that episode, that I don't necessarily know, it wasn't until I thought about it later that I realised the significance of it. He very deliberately pours her a glass of wine and offers it to her, right? And we don't see her drink it.
Yeah.
Which, now, I don't know if this was like common knowledge in Westeros, but you're obviously not supposed to drink when you're pregnant, okay?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was him testing.
That's a... Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that was a big reveal, Liam.
No.
I'm sort of surprised that you looked back on that scene and went,
No.
wait a minute. Because I had that realisation as it happened.
Do they have the medical capabilities of knowing that at that time?
It's probably just a thing.
Because I'm pretty sure, like, until like the 70s or 80s, it was still like, yeah, you can smoke and drink when you've got when you're pregnant. And we've got like modern technology.
They were using that as shorthand in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you're thinking too much about it, but yeah.
So he was using that to test her, right? So if he thinks she's
pregnant,
I
think he was just pouring her a glass of wine.
No, I think it could be read that he's testing her.
What basis would he have to even? What basis would he have to test her to see if she's pregnant?
What do you mean? What basis?
Okay, let me ask that again.
Yeah.
What grounds would Tyrion have had to assume his sister was pregnant that he would feel like he needed to test her?
So he's aware, like, he thinks she's pregnant, okay?
Why?
Because he sees her holding her belly. Doesn't he even say to her?
That was after he poured the drink.
The wine, though.
Okay.
You've got yourself all confused.
That's possible.
He pours the drink, she doesn't drink it, then she rubs her belly later, he puts that together and goes, you're pregnant.
Right, okay, that makes sense. Okay, anyway, but...
Yeah.
This all leads to the same outcome, which is him thinking that she's pregnant, okay? Now, in an earlier season, there's also a line of dialogue, I can't remember who he's talking to, but he says he would never bet against his own family. Like, the Lannisters always come out on top, okay? Now, he's gone through a lot of shit since then, so maybe his stance has changed. However, I still think he has a lot of family loyalty. I'm trying to remember all of the points I was making to Kat earlier, because there's one that I'm forgetting, and it's bothering me.
I can't remember.
Kat, do you remember them? Oh.
I know that's not
There
very helpful.
There was a big point that I made.
I like when someone's theory comes down to this moment where they go, there was definitely like a really persuasive bit I had, but I just can't remember it.
But okay, so now we know so Jaime's ridden away, right? So it's likely he's gonna, I don't know, want to still help Tyrion and Daenerys, right?
Yeah, he wants to go help them, right?
So
that's his thing.
Yeah.
So but then does that not mean like Tyrion will be more sided with Jaime, knowing that she's played them again?
Potentially. So the other thing I did remember was there was a scene earlier on in the season where he was asking Daenerys, like, what's the long-term goal here? Like, once you get the throne, you can't have children. What happens next? And obviously, if he's under the assumption that Cersei is pregnant, that kind of plays into him thinking long-term here. And the other thing, and this is the thing that I really think could potentially have turned him against Daenerys, is the scene where they're fighting the Lannisters, right? And he kind of advises her. You've got the Tarleys, is it?
Yeah.
Where you got Dickon and the other guy, and he's like, don't assassinate them. You're supposed to be better than this. He even says, like, don't use the dragon. He's like, if you just come in with a dragon and burn everything, how are you any different from all of the other tyrants? Like, you're trying to, like, break the will. And she ignores that, does that, and I think you see this moment on his face where he sees Jaime in trouble. He sees the, like, devastation his dragon is doing. Well, I think you could put together him maybe second-guessing, am I following the right person here? And especially when she does then assassinate the Tarleys in front of the Lannisters to get them to, like, bend the knee to her.
Just very quickly, Liam, it's not an assassination.
What is it?
It's an execution.
Oh, execution.
An execution.
Sorry,
you don't assassinate people with a dragon.
Okay, execution. Sorry. But I think there's enough seeds that have been sown for me to buy him potentially, after that conversation with Cersei that we didn't completely see, switching sides.
Oh, okay, so the biggest issue with that, Liam, is for that to work, you have to accept, right, that he's turning against Daenerys because he's worried now that she's a tyrant like the others. Can I just point out to you that he is the most aware character of how tyrannical his sister is? So why would he go, I'm going to abandon this new tyrant for this old one that literally blew up an entire religion and the current ruling family with dragonfire?
He's thinking long term, and he knows, if he believes that Cersei is pregnant, he knows that her number one priority is going to be keeping that child safe, and I think he's going to try and basically get things positioned so that child can be the one that would lead
She's
things
not been
the
too
correct way.
Great at that, though, has she? If you really think about it.
No, she hasn't. But equally, do you
Fourth
think
time
he
lucky.
maybe feels some responsibility for that?
I think he feels guilty. He specifically says, the sorriest I was about the children.
So
I don't
is this
I don't
him?
see it as...
I think
this theory is so sparse, Liam.
Could he be trying to use this new child to redeem himself?
No, I don't think so.
He wouldn't think that long term. That seems like ridiculously forward thinking, like forward planning.
And I just think it would be interesting to see Tyrion turn villain for the last season.
I think it would be too. I don't know if it would be. I think it would be such a I know I was talking about them doing surprising things. I don't want them to I'd hate it if Jon Snow went bad in the last season because it would just, to me, it's like that feels like such an out there idea.
Okay, let me ask you something.
So out there that I can't even see how they get there. It would put me right off, I think.
How do you think he's going to react when he finds out that Jon and Dany are related and also bonking?
I think he's probably going to be like, you probably shouldn't bonk. I just want there to be a scene next season where they just go, oh yeah, we had sex, and then like the people that know him, Tyrion and Dany, they all just sit down and they go, what are you going to do? Probably shouldn't bonk anymore. And they go, yeah, sounds good.
And then they do it again anyway.
Yep, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And then Tyrion joins in and he's like, hell.
I feel like
said a little, if it's what's good for my sister and brother's good for me. And then they all laugh.
Oh, wow.
I feel like if we're going to kind of get on board this incest train, next season we have to have a scene of Arya and Sansa lesing off.
No.
No.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely disgusting, Liam.
Dan
I think it's so disgusting that you would put that forward, you freak.
So everyone else is okay with all the rest of the incest, but that is where we draw the line. Brother and sister, fine. Nephew and aunt, fine. Sister and sister, nah, we can't be having that.
I just feel like
the other ones all have a chance of breeding like fucked up children. The two sisters don't, but we can't have that.
I think it's more because you're a pervert, and it's not actually that you're interested.
I don't want to see this. I think it would be gross. I'm just saying.
I think Liam wants to see it.
I don't want to see that at all. But I just think George R.R. Martin probably does.
What's his role in these seasons at the moment? Is he an advisor?
Yeah.
No, he's basically. I don't think he even advises anymore. I think he's basically said to them, this is where I'm planning on going with the stories. You're on your own now.
Oh, okay.
I don't even think he advises anymore. I might be wrong.
Should we move on to what we think is going to happen next season?
Yeah, well, I sort of was doing that with the whole Tyrion thing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point. Can I do what I think is going to happen?
Yep.
I trust the Game of Thrones writers, so much, because I've loved every season they've done. I think they're a really good team. I am now so worried about this last season.
Why?
I think they'll probably be able to pull it out of the bag, but I can see there being huge pitfalls where they could easily fuck everything up.
I mean, the hardest... There's that.
Not even the time thing, right? The issue is, Game of Thrones has always worked, like you were saying before, Liam, your favourite thing is like the intrigue and the scheming, right?
Yeah.
I think that the thing that makes that interesting is a lot of the time the characters are grey. Like, there are some very clearly evil characters, but even Cersei, who in the later seasons has become very much the baddie, she has had redeeming things in the past where she's like specifically being like, I'm just trying to help my kids. And you're sort of like, oh, maybe she's not evil. Right? We have come to a season where the main enemy is explicitly evil. The Night King, there is not going to be a redeeming thing about him.
No.
So I think we could easily fall into a trap where everyone just has to team up. I know we've had Cersei say, "Oh, she's not going to."
Yeah. She's got the golden company coming.
But she's not said, "I'm going to turn against them." She's just said, "I'm going to go let them fight against each other."
Yeah.
So
here's the
I
thing.
think there's a really easy pitfall we could fall in where they just have a good versus evil final season, and I do not want that.
You're not going to, because there's two things going on at the moment, like they established in the finale. You have this good versus evil fight. Once that's dealt with, the throne is still up for grabs, okay? And Cersei's plan makes complete sense in that, at the moment, I have the throne. My opposing forces, who are at most like chance of taking this throne from me, want to go and fight this war that's going to massively reduce their numbers. If I sit back and even bolster my numbers while they do that, how are they going to take this throne from me? Like, her positioning makes complete sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. But does that not...
But no, that's what I'm saying. So that's the thing. Like, I don't think the whole season is going to be this good versus evil battle. That's going to be like a part of it, but then we have what happens next.
But then is that not sort of counterintuitive, like, to the way they've been setting this up? Like, the fact that the White Walkers and the coming of winter have been such a big deal. I know the throne has always been the sort of... Well, not even then.
The question's always been...
focus, but not really.
The question's always going to be who's going to be on the throne at the end. And I think that's the biggest
pitfall they've got. I don't think it has been, is the thing. I think they tricked you into thinking that was the question, but in reality, like, I think at the moment the questions are, will the North stay independent? Probably not, because they've sided with Daenerys. But then you've only got the question of, is it going to be Daenerys or Cersei?
Yeah.
That again is not interesting. That's two people.
Well, that's the thing.
I can't see them setting up someone.
It's going to be as well, like a show like this, like, what do you actually end the whole show on? Like, what's your like closing, like, 5 minutes, or your closing, like, image, like...
Bran wakes up from...
It was all a dream. Yeah.
And, he's sitting by the tree still, in his wheelchair.
No, he's back to being like little baby Bran, and he's running around. None of it happened. None of it happened.
Holy shit.
Or it's just the beginning.
Got it.
Yeah.
I've got it, guys.
Go on, Jack.
So, final scene. You zoom out, so there's like a big final shot. It zooms out, and you see George R.R. Martin sitting there with a book open in front of him, and he just picks up a pen, and he just crosses it all out, and he goes, "Nah, don't like it, rewriting it," and then it ends.
Or even better, it zooms out, you've got George R.R. Martin there, and he's like licking his lips, and he's a bit sweaty, and he's like, right, now you bend over. And it keeps zooming out, and it's just all of the cast in this like huge graphic orgy.
What the fuck?
Or something happens and they just put "to be continued" on it.
TBC.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Or, right?
Oh yeah.
They deal with the walk. Winter's done. Winter is over. All of the snow starts thawing, and you realise that as it's thawing, you start seeing the top of Big Ben emerge.
It was all... Sorry, sorry. So it's based in the future?
Yes.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what you were going through for.
Yeah. It's a little bit Planet of the Apes. I'll give you that.
Yeah, got you.
But it's our future.
Wow.
Or
yeah,
they jump in a boat,
Yeah.
right? You final shot. Jorah goes, I can't stay here, Danny. You've got the throne. I'm leaving. He sails for a little bit, and then suddenly he's sailing along. What's that next to him? A cruise ship. Turns out they were in a tiny place that was pretending to be a different place, but it was actually based in our world all along.
Yeah, that works. I have a question about next season.
Go on.
What role do we think Arya is going to play? Because she was very significantly seen being given this like dragonglass dagger. Okay.
Yep.
So do we think she's going to abandon her kill list?
Valyrian steel, wasn't it?
Yeah, whatever. Something that can kill walkers, yeah?
Yeah.
So is she going to abandon her kill list to go on this like walker killing spree? Or like what do we think she's going to do next season? And also, do we think she's in danger of dying?
She's gonna... I think she still wants to kill Cersei.
Yeah. I think maybe
that.
it'll turn out that the Valyrian steel works on Thingy's undead creatures as well. That then sort of sets up the Mountain versus her fight.
That would be cool as fuck.
Yeah, that's true.
But so we think she's not going to bother with any of the walkers and just.
I think
carry on
they'll
with her kill
come
list.
to her, and she'll have to protect Sansa, and
Yeah.
that will kind of
This
be
is
as
why,
much
like-
as she gets out of fighting the walkers.
Yeah. Like, I don't think they. I think there's so much for them to try and cram into 8 episodes. That if I
It's
I
6, I
felt this, is it 6?
I thought it was 6 or 7. It's less than what.
But
it
aren't
was.
they all longer? Isn't
They are
that-
longer, yeah. But I think if I felt this season was fast, I think next season's going to be even quicker.
Yeah.
The amount they have to cover.
I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough time at all.
No.
No. Is there anything that we really, really, really want to see? Like, we've also got to see the whole. So Theon, right, is off to go and save Yari, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he now has to also realise, in order to do that Cersei is. He has to figure out Cersei's scheme, right? Because he's going to go where he thinks they are, but they've actually gone to Essos, was it, to get the Golden Company?
The Golden Company.
Yeah.
So how the hell's that going to play out? He's just going to be wandering around the ocean for the whole season.
He's going to do a Gendry,
that'd be great.
just disappear and row off
Yeah.
into the distance. Maybe.
I hope that happens. We get one scene of him sailing off with his new team, and then that's it. We don't see Theon for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Or ever again.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just so much for them to do. Is there anything that we really, really, really want to see?
Dragons vs. Dragons. Yeah. I'm looking forward to
That's
that.
going to be cool. Yeah. Do we think?
That's mostly
who
what
do
I
we
wanna
think
see.
is going to die?
Everyone.
Just everyone. Do we think there's anyone that is untouchable?
Bran.
No, I can see them killing Bran.
No, he's gonna
Yeah.
scoot on out there.
So Bran's like, John, Danny, I need to talk to you in private. You're related, and John's like, fuck you, and just stabs him. It's like, this is the best ass I've ever had. Fuck you.
So, in all seriousness, I think that there's going to be a lot of them that live and a lot of them that die, but I think it's impossible, really, to predict who will live and die, because I think that you could make the argument for so many, like Daenerys. There's an argument for her living, because you could have she gets the throne, blah, 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 ending, or she could die, and then you have a power vacuum thing for the throne.
Well,
you can make the same argument for most characters.
The other thing is, how do we think she's going to react to the fact that John has a more legitimate claim to the throne than she does?
Not well.
Yeah, because that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
It's probably going to end with Jon. Like, that's the ending that feels most likely, is Jon takes the throne.
That's the ending I'd
reluctantly.
like to have.
I think John is the one that's like most untouchable. I feel like
I mean,
he's
they've killed
probably
him
going to see
already
it till the
before
end.
and brought him back, and it would be silly to keep doing that, wouldn't it?
Yes. I don't really see how Sansa fits into the end goal, so I think she's expendable.
Yeah. I think Arya is as well, then, really.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying before. Like, she's got this arrogance now as well that could potentially be her undoing. And also, we've spent so long establishing this whole faceless men thing that's got to come back and bite her in the ass somehow.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
I think it's a good point that it is kind of hard to predict who will live and who will die, because it could happen to any one of them, and you've still got another character that could take the throne, or
Yeah.
What about Tyrion?
I think Tyrion could die.
I think, yeah.
Yeah?
I think he will.
I'm expecting him to die.
He's either
Yeah.
going to piss
Okay.
off Cersei, or he's going to piss off Daenerys enough that he'll be sentenced to death in some dramatic way, is my prediction.
Do we think Jon
Yeah.
will ever ride a dragon?
No.
Not Daenerys.
Oh,
Why not?
I just don't think...
I
don't
meant
think
like
so.
an actual dragon, not Daenerys the dragon, but like one of her dragons.
Yeah, who
I
calls her
don't think
Daenerys
he's
the
going to
dragon?
ride a dragon.
She's the mother of dragons.
Yeah, but she's not Daenerys the dragon, is she? She is not
I
a
call her
dragon.
the dragon.
Fuck.
I call her the dragon. I call you the dragon as well. So. Dan, is there
I was
anything
going to
you'd
say
like
something
to
really
see?
bad then.
Say it.
Go on, what are you going to say, Jack?
no,
No, I'm not going to.
Go on.
No, Dan, what was that question that you asked Dan? Answer that.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm stumped. I don't know.
He doesn't know.
I just don't think they. I don't know. I don't.
He knows
know.
nothing. Oh, do we think that Gendry and is it Tormund? Is that his name?
What?
So the wildling guy who fancies Brienne,
Tormund or...
Oh, yeah.
Tormund, yeah. Do we think they're going to be okay next season? Because we saw them
Yes.
on a wall that was fucking collapsing last time we saw them.
Yeah, but we didn't see him die, so we have to assume
that's
they
the thing.
haven't.
I feel like if they were going to kill him, they're big enough characters that they would have made a moment of it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think that Tormund is quite a loved character now. So even though he's not
He
like
is.
A-list character, he's somebody that a lot of people are going to be sad that like when he dies. So they might be
Will
holding
he-
off
Definitely.
until like the opening of the first episode of the next series to kill him off.
Will he end up with Brienne, do you think?
No, he's dead.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, this is one of the things I liked. I loved that we got to see Podrick meeting up with Tyrion and what's his face, Bronn.
Yeah.
Bronn,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I loved the reference back to the magic cock because I'd forgotten about that,
Yeah.
and that was brilliant. Him kind of like Bronn sort of taking him away from that whole meeting. What do we think that was all about?
I thought that was a bit
was it just an
suspicious.
innocent drink?
Just catch
Yeah.
up. Drinks and catch up.
Oh, I thought there was
So nothing
dodgy
Yeah.
ulterior
on.
going on there.
They did sort of emphasise it a little bit too much. Like, who was someone was it Jamie or someone else who was staring at them as they left?
Yeah.
I think Brienne was.
Someone
as
was
well.
focusing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. So it felt like they were putting a lot of emphasis on the fact that they were walking out.
Yeah, that wasn't normal.
Yeah.
But would you'd be suspicious though? So that would be why.
Yeah,
they're-
yeah, no, I know. But then,
So
But could it
literally
be?
just be drinks?
Yeah.
Could it
maybe.
be?
oh, definitely.
Could it be that Pod's going to be the one that ends up on the throne
No.
at the end?
No.
It's going to be hot pie.
Anything else that anyone wants to discuss?
I'm going to be glad once it's finished.
Yeah, actually, I
In
agree
the
with
most
that.
Fair enough.
delightful way.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
going to be glad once it's finished. It's a good TV show. It's a good series.
it's had its day now, though. Well,
But
Yeah.
yeah,
how do we feel about the fact that it's potentially a year and a half to wait?
not happy.
I'm sad.
I don't care.
I like how like nonchalant you are about this, Dan.
Like I am looking forward to it, but I'm not. I've got so much other TV to watch. It's not like I'm sitting and waiting.
Okay.
Yeah, true. It's not for me like something like The Walking Dead, where I'm literally like, oh, I need the next series now. It's never been like that for me, even from when we sort of.
The
caught
thing I
up.
do like about this, though, is that even from the beginning, it was clear that they had a definitive end in sight. Unlike The Walking Dead, where that could just keep running and running.
Yeah.
I like that this has always felt like it's been building to something.
I think some of
Yeah.
the best TV shows know when to call it a day, and I feel like Game of Thrones, they've come to terms with the fact that it can't go on forever.
Yeah, I still just think that they're calling it a day. I think maybe one season too early.
Well, I
I
feel
think
like
there was
they
enough
should've-
material
I
for a
think-
season.
Been more consistent.
We can't make that call till we see the last season.
I know, I just made that call, Jack.
Yeah, but you
No, I
can't.
think
No, but I
if
did.
they'd have been a bit
I
more
don't know if you noticed.
consistent with the pacing, rather than having like the slower
Yeah.
pace and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, we're wrapping this up.
Yeah.
If it had been
'Cause
more
I-
like paced out, or like maybe some of the other seasons had moved along a little bit faster, it may not
Exactly.
have felt so like, I don't know, not quite right this season.
Yeah, like I've said this before, but I imagine if you was to go and marathon this, like watch it from season 1, episode 1, all the way through, it's only going to serve to highlight how different this season is to the others.
Yeah.
But maybe, guys, Game of Thrones is kind of reflecting life. And in a way, don't all our lives get a little bit hectic at times?
That was a really weak link.
You've been listening to Nerd on Nerd. Thanks, Kat and Dan, for joining us on this discussion about Game of Thrones Season 7.
It's alright.
Thanks, Jack, as well, I guess, for being here.
No worries. I think I legally have to be.
Yeah, you do. How can people get in contact and stuff if they like this? Or if they didn't?
With us, or with us, it's at Nerd on Nerd.
Yeah,
Or you can email us at nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com.
yeah.
You can Facebook us at facebook.com/nerdonnerdpod, all
Yeah.
one word.
Yeah.
Yes. Or you can go on YouTube and search Nerd on Nerd, all one word, and then that brings up the YouTube channel, and then you can comment on it, and you can be really confused that our old episodes are going up.
Don't worry about it. Kat, how can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at moreaboutcat, or on my blog, moreaboutcat.co.uk.
Where else though, Kat? Say I wanted to see it. What if I was like, oh, Kat's really good at podcasting, and I sort of can tolerate Liam?
They can search for Won't Grow Up podcast on YouTube to watch our latest episodes. One of which
We've got
is
a really
going
good
up
one
soon.
going up.
Yep.
Well, when this goes live, it'll probably be up.
Yeah, it will.
Ooh.
Dan, where can people find you?
At home or at work.
Fair enough.
Or on Twitter at I am Dan Palmer, I think. Is it? Yes, I am Dan Palmer, or is it I'm not?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, try I'm not.
or you can call me at 0965. No, it's not really.
Bye.
Fair enough. Bye.
Bye.
Anyone got what? Are your last words, Liam?
Any final thoughts?
I just asked you.
I don't like the fact that we have so long to wait for the next season of Game of Thrones. Unlike Dan, I'm not so nonchalant about it all, and I just want it now.
Bye.
Bye.